what a privilege it is to talk about the vision of Extend Cafes. And as you can see here, the tagline is extend your table, extend the kingdom, and which really, in a nutshell, captures the vision here for Extend. So our vision statement says this: a global network of flourishing cafes harnessing the relational power at the intersection of table and community for the cause of King Jesus. It's kind of a mouthful. I'm going to try to unpack that right here shortly. But I do want to read off the mission statement. We're not going to get into that this time. We'll leave that for another time. But I think that's really important that we read that off as well. So our mission says this: strengthening each other through collaboration as a community, enabling those who share this vision and taking their dreams from concept to success, and inspiring the Anabaptist world to advance the kingdom through the cause of unreasonable hospitality. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the topic I've been given. So Extend Vision Explained. First of all, I like to think a little bit about vision. Why do we have a vision statement? You know, at Sowers, we have a vision statement, and many organizations, many businesses write out a vision statement. What is it? What is a vision statement? I've heard it explained this way: a vision is like your destination. It's where you want to get to. It's that just cause. It's that big idea that you wanna head towards, and your mission maybe is kind of like the vehicle to get there. And so today we're looking at the big idea of Extend. What is our just cause? What is going to help us engage and align as we move forward here as cafes together on this platform or in this alliance? Two little quotes. One quote goes like this: vision is like a lens. They enable everyone concerned to see. So this vision, as I unpack it, I'm hoping to help us begin to see a little bit more clearly why we're together and what is our purpose together on Extend. And then lastly, a quote that I love, and it goes like this: a vision without a plan is just a dream. A plan without a vision is drudgery, but a vision with a plan can change the world. David Allen. And so may this vision be something that inspires us, that gives us a plan to move forward with our mission and can really change the world. So jumping right into our mission or our vision here. And I'm going to start from the back end of this vision statement, and it ends with, for the cause of King Jesus. And so what is the cause of King Jesus? And I believe the Sermon on the Mount, the core teaching of Jesus' teaching, best captures what this is. It beautifully captures and it's more beautifully actually captured in the Lord's Prayer. It's that our Father in heaven would bring his kingdom to earth, and that his will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. To put it simply, Jesus, our King, wanted heaven to come to earth. So I believe the deep passion of Jesus, or his cause, the cause of King Jesus, can be captured in three words: heaven on earth. And if we want more detail around that, we can just go to the beginning of his ministry. He kicked off his ministry there in Luke chapter 4, reading Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. And again, we're thinking about this last couple of words in our vision statement, the cause. What is the cause of King Jesus? And so we believe that as followers of King Jesus, as citizens or ambassadors of this heavenly country, we have the incredible privilege of bringing a piece of the home turf to foreign soil, heaven to earth. And in terms of our occupations, the way we make a living, we would like to contend that a cafe gives us unlimited opportunities to do just that. We could talk a long time about this, but about this idea of heaven to earth. But I want to move along a little bit and look at one other quote, one other statement that I believe helps us understand in maybe more of a tangible way, what does it mean to bring heaven to earth? Or what does it mean to really enact the cause of King Jesus? And that phrase is go and love. Go and love, I believe, is a phrase that can help us understand in a tangible way this heaven on earth. And it's kind of brought out in two commandments of Jesus. The first, of course, is the Great Commission. Matthew 28, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them, teaching them. Obedience to the commission is right at the heart of Extend Cafes. As we talked about, our tagline is extend your table, extend the kingdom. And we think that cafes can be an excellent platform for teaching. Maybe not always in word, but for sure in deed. Remember, more is caught than taught. And as our customers or our guests come in every day, they observe us and they begin to form an understanding of who you are and really who Jesus is. And it's through these relationships that we can then too speak, which moves us into the last great commandment that I want to look at, unpacking this idea of go and love. And that, of course, is the greatest commandment that Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus went on to say that there is no commandment greater than this. And so as we love our King with our heart, it's through serving guests as we would want to be served that we can be obedient to this command and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And so two quotes that kind of unpack this idea, the cause of King Jesus, this last part of his statement, and that is heaven to earth and go and love. Okay, let's keep on moving here. So let's go ahead and jump now to the beginning of our vision statement. And it goes like this, a global network of flourishing cafes. And so a year ago, we began putting pen to paper. I like to say God was kind of raised this vision that maybe was somewhat dormant. He raised it out of the soil. There were several people that came into our lives that said, hey, Bryant, you really need to press into in more tangible ways, helping other cafes start. And so we began putting pen to paper, and our vision kind of grew. It's like, why not help more than just cafes in North America? Let's help cafes around the world. And just as a cafe here in State College is a platform for reaching our community, wouldn't it be the same in Saudi Arabia or whatever country else you want to put in there? And many foreign workers are looking for authentic ways to reach people who are unreached. And a cafe model, really is an ideal way for that. And so we began to think and dream about that, and think about what if we actually create an alliance where the cafes in the West here in North America could steward the economic strength and stability here, where we could actually give low cost to those who are wanting to start a cafe in a developing country. And so we began to dream about that. And would you believe it? Our first cafe here on the platform, our first client, was Phil and Darlene Reif, who are in Mexico. It was amazing to see how God brought that together, and we're so excited to be helping them behind the scenes, just helping them get started there in Mexico. So many cafes teaming together, okay, a global network, a synergistic effect is what we want, where all of us together are learning from each other to become excellent in every area of business, from our financials to our ministry. We want to truly be a flourishing place, a table in the wilderness, really, heaven on earth, right in our community, which brings us to the middle section of our vision that says this: harnessing the relational power at the intersection of table and community. So what does all that mean? There's a lot of kind of big words here in this vision statement. Maybe we got a little too heady here, but let's look at the word power for a little bit. The word power has fallen on hard times, and for good reason. But I believe there is a power of light and there is a power of darkness. And if we are partnering with King Jesus in bringing heaven to earth and seeing his kingdom expanded, we are partnering with the power of God, with the power of Jesus, and it is light, and it is more powerful than darkness. Paul tells Timothy there in 1 Timothy, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So as we develop relationships with people, as we serve them as we want to be served, it gives us a bridge into people's lives. It gives us a sense of power, a power to be embraced in the spirit of 1 Timothy 3:15 that goes like this: but in your heart, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks, to give the reason for the hope that is within you. But do this with gentleness or with meekness and respect or with fear, is one translation. But respect, I think, is really captures what that writer was saying, or what God is meaning here, or the early understanding there of that word. So the Greek understanding. So do it with gentleness and fear. So it's an incredible opportunity that we have. I can give you 3 examples of 3 relationships right now, current relationships, that I made through Sowers, where people are pursuing us with questions. They're saying, tell me more. And so we're stewarding that relational power. Guests that we became friends with through the last months and years, we're stewarding that for the cause of King Jesus. And by God's grace, we're responding and telling them of the hope that is within us with meekness and fear. So really, heaven and earth, go in love, are coming together there. And it's so exciting to see that happen. So let's move on to the last little phrase here. Well, I'm sorry, actually 2 other words in this little statement, tables and community. So tables, what do we mean by table? Well, it's just that. We all will have tables in our cafe. All right. So, and at Sowers, I think we can seat 40 or 50 people. So we have a number of tables there. But there's something more about this too. It's a lot deeper. When we think of a table in the wilderness, we think of the psalmist, Psalm 23. God prepares a table for us in the presence of our enemies. A table is rich with ideas. It's symbolic of hospitality, of food, family, acceptance, love, communion, worship, and the list goes on here. Nevin has done some work on this idea, and maybe sometime we'll have him do a talk on this idea of tables. Tables are rich with meaning. Let's move on to community. What do we mean by community? Well, it's just the local people in your area, where hungry people and your table intersect. That's where we want to set up a cafe. That's where we want to see these cafes working, stewarding that opportunity of hungry people, a table, food, and people who are there to serve them in the way that we would want to be served. But there's also something more here as well to this idea of community. Um, People come into our cafe, they represent our secular community, if you will. Um, but it's our vision at Sowers that some of those would join our sacred community, would join our church. Again, much more could be said there. So, in wrap up here, repeating our vision statement is a global network of flourishing cafes, harnessing the relational power at the intersection of table and community for the cause of King Jesus. And we will need the power of God. We need God's blessing to see this happen. This is way beyond us at Sowers, way beyond Joe at Coronation, way beyond Josh and Jerry at Old Market and you all. We need the power of God to enable us to do this because when we move into an area with a vision to bring heaven to earth, with a purpose to go and love, we encounter powers that are set against us. And Leslie Newbigin says this so clearly. He says this: the secular society or community is not a neutral area into which we can project the Christian message. It is an area already occupied by other gods. We have a battle on our hands. We are dealing with principalities and powers. And so may God, the power above all powers, the light of the world, Jesus, the light of the world, give us the strength that we need to bring light into darkness to this work. So may God add his blessing. It's a vision statement that's beyond us. It's a destination that we want to head towards. But it's probably something that we will never totally achieve, but it's going to always give us that beacon. It'll always be that destination by God's grace.